See him at halftime. It's 47-35 Arkansas. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
Roy, what adjustments will you make in the second half?
Well, we've got to play better, got to play harder, got to do a better job on the backboards, take care of the basketball better.
Any plan to stop Todd Day?
We've got to play better defense. You can't get 21 every half.
Okay. Let's go back to you, Greg.
All right, Jim, he's got that right. Greg Gumbel along with Quinn Buckner and Quinn. Todd Day has had a marvelous first half and has looked unstoppable so far.
Well, Greg, he has, and the thing that makes it difficult is now with Todd Day gets his confidence, he's difficult to guard. But what has happened is now he's opened up the outside, and you've got to be concerned about that because you know Oliver Miller's on the inside. They get you coming and going.
There are some pretty significant numbers to look at from the first half, and one of them is turnovers.
Well, the turnovers today, as you can see, there are 10 already in the first half of Kansas. They only had 9 all game against Indiana. The three-point shooting, Arkansas is just sticking it with regularity, 6 of 11. You got to figure they'll cool off, but what they'll start to do is get some more points off of the turnover.
Todd Day has 4 of those in 6 tries from behind the three-point line. And Todd Day has now scored 20 or more points in 24 games this season.
Greg, 21 points in 16 minutes. He's had a great start. Roy Williams is right. If they don't get out and play defense, this guy can absolutely get away from him.
Jamison, Maddox, Jordan, Brown, and Mark Randall starting the second half for Kansas. Back door, work to perfection. Terry Brown.
You take advantage of over-aggressive defense, move the offense up, and you can get back cuts.
Important thing here, Quinn, as you mentioned in the first half, Kansas can't get them all back in one bite.
They just have to stay patient. And see, the offensive rebounds is what got Kansas in trouble before. And right here, the first possession for Arkansas, they get another one.
Bowers, Mayberry, Todd Day, Miller, and Isaiah Morris starting the second half for Arkansas. Bowers close to being tied up. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Bowers stripped to the ball from behind. Up ahead, 3-on-1 for Kansas. Brown with the shot over Todd Day.
Well, that is a tough shot. That's 6'2" over 6'8" with long reach. Right there is one way Kansas can get back in the game, force some turnovers of their own.
4 quick points by Terry Brown, and Kansas is within 8. And that's an offensive foul.
Boy, that's a Charlie horse right there to Bowers. He came out, he got a knee right in the thigh.
That's 3 on Arlen Bowers. And Ernie Murray into the game. Let's take another look.
Well, Bowers tries to get out and play defense, but you see the good step out there by Maddox, and you see the collision. And Bowers came up limping, has 3 fouls, had to go sit down.
And that's 5'10", knocking over 6'7". Mark Randall to the baseline, fouled by Murray. Kansas has come out with a little pepper in the second half.
Well, it's important that they get off to a good start, Greg. And you're right. They've come out with a little pepper. Here's the real key for Kansas. You've got to be able to maintain that kind of intensity and effort for the rest of the half, the rest of the game, because you know Arkansas will not let up.
Tomorrow afternoon at the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, James Brown, Billy Raftery will call North Carolina against Temple for the East Regional Championship here on CBS. Todd Day missed it, got his own rebound, and missed that one.
Too many chances for it.
Adonis Jordan comes away with it. This is a 4-on-2. Jordan, and the foul is committed from behind. That basket will not count.
Greg, that's actually a good foul, because if you don't, you got numbers going back with Oliver Miller by himself. Murray gets called for the foul, stops the fast break.
That's number 2 on Ernie Murray. Alonzo Jamison. That's a 3 for Alonzo Jamison. And it's 47-43. And timeout on the floor.
When you respond to people's everyday needs, show concern for their safety, and have an understanding of what an honest value really means, a very nice thing happens. They put you in their driveway. Last year, 1,364,096.
When you get a chance to get the offense up here, you got opportunities for back cuts. And when you get a good back ball handler who can read the defense, there's how you get the backdoor play. Now, that will back up some of the pressure that the Razorbacks have been putting on the Jayhawks.
Kansas has outworked Arkansas to start the second half with hustle like that, and they've outscored the Razorbacks 8-0 to start this half.
Well, I think the point you make is really the key. They have absolutely outworked the Razorbacks. They come up with every loose ball. They're getting the rebounds.
And Isaiah Morris gets the first points of the half on the board for the Razorbacks. He has 11. Remember, he scored the first 7 points of his game.
Well, and Todd Day got hot, so he had room to cool down.
There's a minor collision at the top of the key.
That's all because Jamison made a jump shot. You know, that's guys fall for that every time. If a guy makes one jump shot, all of a sudden you're jumping out at him.
I want to remind you that near the conclusion of this NCAA tournament game, Quinn and I will select the Chevrolet Players of the Game, and in conjunction with that award, Chevrolet donates $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Foul is on Todd Day. That's number 2 on Day.
Gone into a 2-3 zone on out of bounds.
Maddox. 49-45. And there is a foul. And that's on Randall. Looks on Mark Randall, it is. That's 2 on Randall. Murray into the lane. Got it. And it counts.
That's a walk-on. I mean, I'm telling you, Greg, you just don't see that very often where a kid just comes in and makes these kind of plays. I mean, he's got it made up in his mind. Ernie Murray is going to take this ball right here, and he just goes up, and there's nothing Terry Brown can do. And the reason he can't do anything is because Murray's momentum had him already going to the hoop. If Brown jumps, he gets called for the foul, as he did.
Second foul on Brown. Missed the free throw. And Jamison fouled by Mayberry from behind. Mayberry saying that he was hooked.
Mayberry got out foxed. Jamison at 6'6", showing ball handling skills.
Coming up later this afternoon, Dick Stockton, Billy Cunningham out in Seattle. UNLV taking on Seton Hall. Jordan got it back. Fake once. In amongst the trees, he converts the basket. Back comes Murray in a hurry. Out of bounds to Arkansas. And that was one of the few times Kansas had the majority of people under the basket.
Well, Greg, it's early. I mean, when I say early, we're under 4.5 gone in the second half. If they're doing that at the latter part of the game, then I think that's significant. I expect to see that early.
And a little bit of a disagreement.
No, what it is about who gets the right to the position with Oliver Miller and Isaiah Morris. And the person that's there first should get it. And they're saying that Maddox had it first. And Oliver Miller's mad because Butch Morris was honest and said he had it first.
I don't know about you, but my first aim would be to appease Oliver Miller.
No question.
Todd Day. High off the board, didn't fall. Jamison comes down with it. Here comes Adonis Jordan. Throws it up. In and out. Jamison follows. And he'll go to the line.
When you get a player that can get good position, it really helps. But you see right here, Jordan takes it to the basket. We talked about Arkansas getting offensive rebounds, but this is Jamison. I still think he is the most unsung player on this club. He is either leading or at the top 2 in almost every category that Kansas has.
Missed the free throw, but got the ball back. Arkansas by 2, 51-49. Trip from behind. Isaiah Morris is called for the foul.
Craig, he's got great athletic ability. The only shortcoming he has right now, when I talk to Roy Williams about it, is that his jump shot hasn't been perfected. He's knocked down a three, and he's caused people to come out and have to guard him. But you gotta like his ball handling ability, his strength. He's got he's got that next level of NBA kind of body, so he'll bang.
Isaiah Morris commits his third. Sean Tunstall with the free throw. Free throw shooting has not been a Kansas strong point all year long. And they are already in the bonus in this half.
They're in the bonus because they've worked harder, Greg. They've been the more aggressive team here at the start of the second half.
We have a tie game with 16 minutes to play in this half. Murray for three. And Arkansas leads by three. Tunstall on the baseline. Randall. Foul. That he'll go to the line.
When you're talking about working, Randall is working. All of a sudden, he sees the ball come up. He gets hammered right by Wallace, and you can see he's enthusiastic about it because he knows he gets his club a chance to tie this game up.
That's exactly where we are with 15 and a half minutes to play. Day.
He's got to shoot the first shot.
Tunstall. Jamison follows. And a jump ball. Possession arrow will go Arkansas's way. Into the game, Ron Bury. And Todd Day will take a break.
That's a good substitution, and I'll tell you why. One of the things Todd Day is going to hear, he had the shot, and he's got to take it right now. He was hot, and when you're hot, you just take it.
Tied at 54. And 15:05 to play.
You got to get it down to Miller.
Exactly what they did. Oliver Miller has 4. And the foul is on Mayberry.
Oliver Miller is such a formidable force inside. You've got to get the ball. Randall gets high side. He has no backside help. Adonis Jordan too small, too late.
That's 5'11", Adonis Jordan trying to put the brakes on Oliver Miller.
But you got to love the name Adonis Jordan. That's a great basketball name. Got to get this young man in the game in your screen. Oliver Miller, big body. All of a sudden, Kansas aggressive. So you know that all of a sudden will pick up and pressure further out. If they do that, there's no backside help to help out on Miller.
Jordan gets the first. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
Okay, Greg. Nolan Richardson just told Todd Day when he came out, don't force the ball. I'm just going to sit you down for a couple of minutes, work in the context of the offense, get some good shots, not just any shot. There are other guys who can score. Greg?
Greg, that's what I was talking about. He had a shot, and then he tried to create another one going inside and ended up taking a bad shot.
Number 3, Terry Brown back in for Kansas. Gives Adonis Jordan a rest.
Little ball handling, definitely some scoring with Terry Brown.
34, Roosevelt Wallace. Another big body on the front line for Arkansas. We're tied at 56. Into Miller. And Tunstall over the timeline. Arkansas by 2.
This is a different team right here without Adonis Jordan. Tunstall is primarily a 2-guard trying to convert to the 1 spot. That's hard to do because there's a different mentality.
Brown, way short. Miller for Hury. That's as quick an outlet as you will see.
I mean, that's a bullet.
And it's Arkansas by 4.
This is what Kansas has to hold their back. create some shots.
Tunstall around and out. Loose ball. Saved by Terry Brown. And Kansas gets a new 45. Brown right around his man and floats in and just missed the shot. Miller up court. And Mayberry will take it short. Out of bounds, Arkansas.
Did the right thing, gave it to the guard.
Still to come, the Pirates and the Rebels waiting to tip it off later today out in Seattle.
I hope they're having as much fun with their game when they start as we're having with this one.
Todd Day back in for Arkansas. Miller taps it back to Day, who puts up the three. And Jordan up high for the rebound. Back comes Kansas. Jamison down low. Foul is on Miller. We talked about the shooting problems at the free throw line for Kansas. They were last in the Big Eight, shooting just 61.9%. And that can hurt you in a tight game.
Well, they put themselves in a position to get in this contest by being aggressive. And officials tend to let the aggressive team play. And Kansas has gotten themselves, as you said, in position to be here. They've got to make the foul shot.
Richard Scott shot just 40% from the line during the season, and he missed that one.
See, right here today, they're at 67. They shot 59 on Thursday. Whoa. You got to call the bank.
3-point lead for the Razorbacks. Wallace for three. In and out. Todd Day is there. 23 for Todd Day.
That's the way to get back in the game when you're struggling after having a good half. Get an easy hoop.
See Roy Williams calling the play from the sideline. And Ernie Murray tied up Adonis Jordan. 11:51 to play.
There's a thread that runs through our lives. A thread that binds us together. Friendship, family, pride. These are the values that endure. The best things have always been those that last.
Charlotte Coliseum, Southeast Regional Championship. Arkansas leading at 62-57 with 11:51 to play. Greg Gumbel, Quinn Buckner, Jim Gray, and we're glad you're with us. Arkansas with the ball. They led by 12 at halftime. Kansas came back to tie. Arkansas has again grabbed the lead, and Mayberry casts off, comes up short. Randall has the rebound. Mayberry almost took it away. Randall all the way in, and the offensive foul. The home of the Charlotte Hornets is the site of the Southeast Regional title game this afternoon. Charlotte Coliseum with 11:23 to play in the game. 62-57 Arkansas. The three-point shooting has been Arkansas's today.
Well, they've come out. Todd Day had a big first half with 21 points. He had 4 three-pointers, got off to the good start. Then Kansas came out, played very inspired, much more aggressive at the top of the second half. They've got themselves in position to make Arkansas chase them a little bit.
Oh, Alonzo Jamison with another big move, and all the way down court for Miller, and he lost it out of bounds. team.
You got to know when it's time to get out of the way.
Oh, pom-poms flying left and right.
Look out below.
Arkansas 62, Kansas 59. The winner gets a trip to Indianapolis. Jamison looking for a way around. Todd Day can't find a three-pointer out of the corner, doesn't fall. And Randall had it bouncing around. Mayberry saved it 2-on-1. Bowers will wait.
That's a good decision. He didn't have anybody wide open.
And Todd Day around his man, missed the shot. No foul called, and here come the Jayhawks. Terry Brown for three. And Brown committed the foul on Mayberry.
He just started into Arkansas's pace there. When you see shots go up that quick.
That's 3 fouls on him. You see UNLV later this afternoon will try to improve on its 44-game winning streak. UCLA next in sight, 3 ahead. UCLA from 66 to 68, that is. And UNLV will work on that. And they go up against Seton Hall coming up after this game here on CBS Sports.
Terry DeHeer for Seton Hall has been the guy that's really got them going. He's played his best basketball since being at Seton Hall.
Todd Day stepped on the line. Arkansas with its 13th turnover of the day. Kansas has 12. Tunstall brings it across the line. Down the lane. Nice feed for Jamison. And Kansas is within 1. Alonzo Jamison has 19.
Getting good play off the bench from Roy Williams.
And that will go against Kansas. Foul is on Terry Brown.
Anytime you can attack the defense in the middle, you see the collapse right there. Here he comes over. Nobody picks up Jamison. He finishes off. Now Tunstall in your screen, number 22, had a big game against Indiana. He had 15 points. He had no turnovers. He's coming in here, and he's able to give Adonis Jordan a break.
That's Steve Woodbury in for Terry Brown, who has drawn his 4th personal foul, and that can be a problem for Kansas. He is Kansas's leading three-point shooter and their leading scorer.
He is their outside threat, the outside threat for Kansas.
62-61 Razorbacks. Fury snakes his way inside. Shot doesn't work. And the foul is on Kansas. Let's check in with Jim Gray. Jim?
Okay, Greg. On the bench, Roy Williams is telling his guys he wants everybody to converge back on Miller. Only guard Todd Day. He feels they need the help inside, and they want to disrupt his dribble going to the basket. Greg?
All right, Jim. Mark Randall, more problems for Kansas, has drawn his 4th foul.
That's a major problem because you got a 5th-year senior who normally can make things happen for you with his 4th foul.
Tunstall with the pass for Jordan, who gets inside. It's Kansas by 1.
And outworked.
Day lost it and regained it.
Well, this is a good matchup because Jamison is the top defender for Kansas playing against the top offensive player for Arkansas.
Fury traveled. Fury went up and found 2 defenders in his face. Into the game comes Ernie Murray. So Arkansas with Miller, Mayberry, Bowers, Murray, and Todd Day. Kansas has Jamison, Sean Tunstall, Richard Scott, Mike Maddox, and the man with the ball, Adonis Jordan.
This is a 1-3-1 trap. They'll get you on the wing. They can come out and trap you.
On the baseline, Miller with the rejection. Save, Maddox. That would have counted had it not gone through. Kansas leads by 3.
Well, you got to make sure you get the basketball. Right here, Bowers could have let it go, but Miller goes up to get it. He blocks it. The official thought it was going in anyway. Calls the goaltender.
Miller missed the easy pop, got his offensive rebound, and scored.
Kansas worked so hard on their end to get easy hoops, and then they give them up like that. Well, that's frustrating for a coach.
There is no one on the Kansas team big enough to battle with Oliver Miller down low.
And that's why Arkansas should just go to him until Kansas figured out a way to stop him.
Tunstall almost tied up.
You can always go to Oliver Miller's man because Oliver Miller is not even coming out of the paint. It was Maddox that time. So he's got to make himself available.
Shot clock down to 7. Jordan short. Trying for the save and not getting it was Richard Scott. We'll take a break with 7:25 to play. Kansas by 1.
A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS.
Leads at 65-64. Greg Gumbel, Quinn Buckner, Jim Gray.
Craig, at this point, Roy Williams has told his group they've got to play through what is normally the fatigue factor. When you get fatigued, one of the things that happens to you is you can get fouls. You see Randall and Brown both have 4 fouls.
Murray fouled going down the lane. And the foul is on Richard Scott. I want to remind you, coming up tonight on CBS, question Quinn Buckner asks many times, where the hell's that goal? Question mark, exclamation, exclamation, question mark. 7:10 to play in the game.
Greg, against Alabama, this is where Arkansas just took it over.
Jamison. Averaging 10 points a game. Alonzo Jamison has 21. It's Kansas by 3.
Todd Day got stuck in the eye, so the official was giving him a timeout. He was in the corner, and you could see him get popped in the eye. The guy that's just been, I think, just strong all over today is Alonzo Jamison. I'm telling you, he's got that body, good pump fake to keep Oliver Miller down on the ground, able to get it up and over.
Those are pretty telling stats on Todd Day. Just 2 points in the second half after a 21-point first half.
The first half, Greg, he was catching and shooting. The second half, he's tried to create his own shot, and that's a tougher shot to make, and that's why he's shooting at a low percentage in the second half.
Meanwhile, Kansas doing a much better job of protecting the basketball. Miller fouled before he got the shot off. And that looks to be on Alonzo Jamison. It is. That's number 3 on Jamison. Coming up next from Seattle, the top-ranked running Rebels of UNLV against the Pirates of Seton Hall. Oliver Miller makes the first. What do you think about the Pirates and the Rebels?
Well, I think Seton Hall does have a good shot at him. I'll tell you why. When I talked to Jerry Tarkanian, he agreed. His team is not playing the same aggressive defense they have been in the past. Seton Hall is well tested. They play in the Big East, just like Georgetown, who said, guys, we play tough games like this all the time. Seton Hall is playing the best of anybody coming out of the Big East.
Seton Hall beat him in the regional finals 2 years ago. That one batted out of bounds, and it belongs to Kansas. The Jayhawks lead it by 1. We're under 6.5 to play in the game.
Back in the 1-1-3 defense, this is the one where you can protect Oliver Miller. What Nolan Richardson likes to do, but you can also be aware where the jump shooters are.
Jamison Oh, what a move by Alonzo Jamison. He has 23. The lob from Miller by himself, and he missed the shot and got the tip.
Boy, he's got soft hands. Quick to the ball, soft hands.
And Miller has 12. Kansas by 1. Remember, the Jayhawks are playing with both Terry Brown and Mark Randall on the bench with 4 fouls each. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. It's down to 16.
And they really are great. Right here, they're trying to get themselves a break. This is how you can get a breather, because in the zone, there's nobody that'll come out after you.
And Miller fouled Jamison.
And what Miller did was go up and try to guard Jamison. You got to force Jamison to shoot the jump shot. Again, there's nobody on the backside that can guard Miller, but watch how soft his hands are. He misses that because it's on his palm, gets it back up with the left hand and gets it in.
That horn is for a Kansas substitution, and now Patrick Ritchie will wait. Alonzo Jamison goes to the line. He's 0 for 1 on the day, a 50% shooter from the line on the season.
Having a big day, the numbers, but those foul shots can be the Achilles heel. He's shooting these like he knows exactly where they're going, though.
He is 11 out of 14 from the field, and now 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. 1 out of 3. Kansas by 2. 5:15 to play. Mayberry, no. That one will be on Oliver Miller. And that's 3 on Miller.
And that's the one player that Arkansas just absolutely cannot lose. They can lose a lot of people, but as I said, is the anchor. He's the guy that helps back on the defensive end, scores for him inside. If they get him the ball more inside, he won't get those kind of fouls because he won't feel there's any need to have to try to come up with the ball there. He struggles so much just getting his shot. In his anxiety, he gets that foul call.
We talked about the shooting problems at the free throw line for Kansas. Mike Maddox, 43% on the year. And nailed the first one. Roy Williams told his club during the last timeout, a reference to Nolan Richardson's defensive strategies, it doesn't have to be 40 minutes of hell.
And that's the psychological flaw. You try to get your kids to play through this. And when I talked to Roy Williams, that's what he said. I'm going to try to get them to think through what this fatigue factor is about, because it's as much mental as it is physical.
David Johanning, a 6'10 junior, number 54, in for Maddox after Maddox hit 2 big free throws. And it's a 4-point lead for the Jayhawks.
Mayberry's the guard that's got to get Miller the ball. Johanning can't guard Miller. There's no way.
Todd Day. Around and out. Miller with the board. Day for 3. And a big rebound by Steve Woodbury.
Boy, Miller's down and hurt. Oh, boy, this will really get to Arkansas.
Three-pointer out of the corner. Tunstall. Sean Tunstall hit the 3, and now we'll check on Oliver Miller.
Boy, if he's out of the game, I want to tell you, that is a major blow for Arkansas. And he's been in that position since he went down. On the previous possession, Miller's got position in there. He probably could have got it dropped down, but watch Woodbury go up and get it. Looks a little bit like he came down on that left leg, but I believe it's his right leg that was hurting him up in the groin area, but he comes down and he's still in the same position.
Miller was hobbled Thursday night with the strained groin muscle, reported to be feeling better as he came into the building today. But there is not much action out of Oliver Miller right now.
Well, you see a obviously concerned Nolan Richardson, because he's said all along, we go with the big O.
We've talked about his value to this team. The career record holder at Arkansas for blocked shots came into this game with 110.
again. You'll see him right in the center of your screen. Now, it looks like just a little bit on. Watch this. Johannan hits him a little bit as he goes up, and then again as he comes down. And Miller, we understand, his strain is growing again.
And limps to the bench.
Well, here's where the problem really comes in. You see he has 12 points, 9 rebounds. When you go sit down, you give that thing a chance to cool off. Boy, it is really hard to come back at it after that.
He played first 5 minutes against Alabama Thursday night and then did not come back in for the remainder of the first half. Meanwhile, 4.5 to play. Kansas 75, Arkansas 68. Arkansas, the #1 seed here in the Southeast. Murray for three, short. Woodbury has another big rebound, and he's fouled by Wallace.
You got the freshman in there coming up with rebounds.
And Steve Woodbury goes against the grain on this Jayhawks team. He's a good free throw shooter. Let's check in with Jim Gray again. Jim?
Okay, just spoke to the Arkansas bench and to Oliver Miller down there. He will come back. He just re-aggravated his groin injury. It's really tightened up on him. He took a bad spill, but he says he can come back. Greg?
All right, Jim, 4:13 to play in the game.
You took a stand for all we stand for. You gave your hand when it was asked for. Oh, you are the ones who lifted us. You are the ones who kept the trust. You're the ones whose gift we must recall. We hear the children singing now for every hero. Sing it loud. We want to thank you. Yes, we want to thank you. You're the ones we thank you all.
4:13 to play in the game. Oliver Miller back into the lineup. Kansas leading at 75-68, and Steve Woodbury to the line with a chance to increase their lead. Kansas with 3 timeouts to 1 for the Razorbacks. You see the total fouls, and the possession arrow favors the Jayhawks.
Well, coupled with that, Greg, the thing that they've been able to get away with is Terry Brown, Mark Randall have been sitting on the bench, and they pulled out to this 8-point lead. So you got to know you got your 2 horses basically on the bench, Randall being a seasoned veteran.
34, Richard Scott into the lineup for Kansas. Arkansas has not made a field goal in the last 4 minutes and has missed its last 5 shots.
Right here, Arkansas will find a way to get the ball to Miller. All this shooting from outside is not going to get it done.
Todd Day for Miller. And it counts, and he'll go to the line. Whatever Miller's problem was, the recovery has been quick.
Well, I'm not sure how bad he was hurt, but once Day goes to the middle, then you help out. I'm sure Nolan Richardson said, get the ball inside the Miller. And what I said, that I'm not sure he's hurt. Oliver Miller is a kid that does not like to fail. He had a tough fall back there because he thought he should have got the ball in. And I thought he was down kind of just disappointed as much as anything else, because as soon as he was on the bench, he looked like he was fine.
77-70. And Adonis Jordan is fouled by Todd Day.
But the thing you don't want to do if you're Arkansas, you don't want to foul. I mean, because if you foul, as you can look at the foul trouble there, Jamison with 3, Kansas obviously in a tougher situation. But if you foul, you stop the clock, and if you're raising 40 minutes of hell, you stop the clock, you give people a chance to get their, to regroup, get their win, and that's not something that the Razorbacks want to do.
Oh no's hog ball is what's written on the back of Oliver Miller's cleats. Quinn, perhaps the usual strategy might be to foul the Jayhawks, knowing they're not a good free throw shooting team, but in this half they are 13 for 17 from the line.
Well, it is you know, customarily not the game of the Jayhawks to make that shot, but they're making it and making it quite easily. So you still want to keep the ball going pretty good.
Todd Day, and Todd Day will go to the line after the blocking call on Adonis Jordan. And that's 3 on Jordan. 3:49 to play. Seton Hall, UNLV, waiting until we wrap this one up. Arkansas comes into this game averaging just over 100 points a game. Kansas allows its opponent 69 a game, and Arkansas is over that number now. Tomorrow, regional championships continue here on CBS. In the East, Temple, North Carolina. In the Midwest, St. John's in Duke.
Well, Mark mentioned Kilgore has been leading the Temple club. They've been a bit of a surprise, as we have here with this Kansas team in Arkansas. Both trying to get some respect.
Count another big rebound for the freshman, Steve Woodbury, and he'll go to the line on the foul by Ernie Murray. When we have seen a turnaround since the teams came out in the second half and Arkansas was leading by 12. What's happened?
Kansas just played harder. I mean, it's not any simpler than that. They've come out, they've got some loose balls. In the first half, we saw Arkansas get offensive rebound baskets. In the second half, we saw Kansas do that. I thought Alonzo Jamison had a lot to do with that, getting in there, keeping it live, and just making things happen. But the thing about Kansas, they are a no-name team. So somebody pulls them up by the bootstraps every time. I think Jamison has been big. Woodbury has come in and played big. The bench has played well for Kansas.
Woodbury hits them both, and it's a 10-point lead for the Jayhawks. Woodbury with the steal. Down court for Jamison. Fouled by Day. And that's 4 on Todd Day. This Kansas team has surprised before. In 1988, they were the number 6 seed in the Midwest and won it all.
Well, you see, Woodbury does what a good guard does. He gets back, but nobody gets back defensively. Todd Day comes for Alonzo Jamison too late, gets called for the foul. He's stroking. I mean, he is stroking.
25 points, 9 rebounds for that young man. And look at the Jayhawks and how they've converted at the free throw line.
And that's been the story as much as anything. They've just shot the free throws well.
That's a 12-point lead with 3.5 to play. Murray hits the baseline jumper. Back to 10. Jordan double team. Out of bounds to Kansas. You see the Jayhawks and the run they've enjoyed in the last 3 minutes.
Now, with Kansas, with this kind of lead, they are such a good ball handling team. Arkansas has got to go get them because Kansas is not going to be the one to throw it away very often.
Under 3 minutes for the game. Tunstall.
That took some nerve.
And Maddox has the rebound. Tunstall again.
You gotta love it.
Todd Day for 3. And now Kansas is owning the backboard.
Kansas has stood up to all the pressure that Arkansas has put in the game, and they have played great, Greg. The second half.
Kansas, the number 3 seed here in the Southeast, taking time off the clock. And Murray comes out for the foul. And that's 4 on Murray.
Well, you get right here. Tunstall goes in here. Makes a nice little shot right there. But as I said, he played big against Indiana. Boy, Williams seems to enjoy it because he sees Tunstall, his junior, making it happen.
And Mark Randall back into the lineup now, replacing Mike Maddox.
Fresh legs, Randall sitting on the bench. Maddox doing a good job protecting the inside.
Jordan, 4 out of 4 from the line today, will shoot a couple.
Well, you got to talk about a team, Greg, here in Kansas. Now, this is a surprise team to be here, first of all. They went in '88, went on probation the next year. Roy Williams takes over the club, and they have come back and going to the Final Four if they continue to play as they have now. This is unbelievable to see the way these kids have come out and play.
Jordan, 6 out of 6 from the line. Kansas, 87 to 73. Murray follows up his shot.
So they don't have the one timeout. That's why Arkansas can't really stop the clock.
Jordan fouled on the far side by Lee Mayberry with 1:53 to play. Remember, Arkansas led this game by 12 at halftime, and the second half is supposed to be the Razorbacks' time of night.
They got outplayed. They came out right from the top. Nolan Richardson knows it. His group came out, and they were on their heels. And what Roy Williams had been worried about with his team was they were being defensive with the pass. They came out aggressive in the second half, and they just have not been stopped since they came out.
Jordan's first miss of the day from the line. Kansas by 13 with 1:50 to play. And the free throw story is incredible in this game. Out of bounds to Arkansas. Quinn, let's not lose sight of the contributions by a 6'4" freshman by the name of Steve Woodbury. Murray, three-pointer. Murray with his own follow. Rejected by Woodbury.
Mr. Woodbury.
4 on 2, and Randall will slow it down. And tipped by Kansas.
Yeah, Adonis Jordan trying to laugh that one off. That's a pass that Maddox and Randall has to do a better job of making. You got to be sharp here.
Here's Lee Mayberry into the lane. 88-77. Kansas by 11 with 1:21 to play. And Jordan with time off the clock. Tunstall. Foul.
Oh, that's intentional.
And that is an intentional
No
foul.
question about it.
Ernie Murray, the guilty party.
Well, you got to stop it to make the shot, but you don't do it that way.
And that's 5 on Murray. The coordinating producer of college basketball on CBS is Bob Deacon. Today's game produced by Craig Silver and directed by Mike Arnold. The road to the Final Four produced by David Winter and Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of CBS Sports is Ed Gorin. And the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker.
I'll tell you what, Greg, I think Kansas deserves all the credit in the world because they have come out and won this game. But I think that some of the blame has got to be taken from the Razorbacks because I'm not sure they weren't looking past Kansas. Kansas is not the team they expected to be here. They thought that Indiana would be here, and I'm not so sure the players overlooked the Jayhawks from Kansas.
Arkansas, 34 victories, the most in the country. And they're looking at loss number 4 right here with 57.9 to play. Arkansas Coffin. Our Chevrolet players of the game this afternoon: Alonzo Jamison for Kansas, Todd Day for Arkansas.
All second half, just how it goes. Surprise, surprise. The Jayhawks going to the Final Four.
Randall. And they'll kick it back outside. Patience is a virtue the Jayhawks will take with them to Indianapolis.
Well, you know what happens now. If the Carolina Tar Heels, North Carolina Tar Heels win.
There is an exclamation point.
You got Roy Williams going against his mentor. If they can get by Temple.
Back down court for Oliver Miller. And as the final seconds tick off, the Jayhawks are going to Indy. The Southeast Regional belongs to Kansas, the #3 seed with a victory over top-seeded Arkansas. And Kansas is the first team to move on to Indianapolis. 93-81 for Quinn Buckner and Jim Gray. I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's go back to New York and Pat O'Brien.
All right, fellas, thank you very much. Well, we've got 1/4 of our Final Four, and we're about to learn the identity of yet another second participant at next week's Big Dance. Will Seton Hall fill the glass slippers again, or will UNLV run away with that prize? Tip time is 7:03 out in Seattle. Well, right now, our Leslie Visser is standing by live, and V, you're on.
Pat, Seton Hall proved a couple of nights ago that they know how to handle a team with a dominating front line. Bigger isn't necessarily better. They handled Arizona, the Tucson Skyline. Well, tonight they face another team with a dominating front line of Augman, Ackles, and Johnson. By the way, this game will be played on a resurfaced floor. A couple of nights ago, the players were complaining that they were slipping all over the wax. Yesterday, the floor was treated with a solution of 4 parts bleach to 1 part water. That should clear up the problem. I just spoke with Coach P.J. Carlissimo, and he said if the score is tied with 4 minutes to go, that favors Seton Hall. This is a team that doesn't turn the ball over, and they hit their free throws. But how good is UNLV? Remember, this is the team that turned Georgetown into sentimental underdogs. Pat?
All right, Leslie, thank you very much. We'll hear from you later on in the day. The road to Indianapolis cuts through the Pacific Northwest, and on our way there, we'll make a brief return trip to Charlotte. Stay with us. We've got a lot more mileage to do before this day is done, and we'll hit the road after this brief stop for a commercial message and a word from your local station.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Along with Quinn Buckner, a couple of happy Jayhawk people here. Alonzo Jamison, the high scorer of the game for the Jayhawks, Mark Randall, and Coach Roy Williams. Let me first ask you, a team that comes into the tournament 64th in free throw shooting out of 64 teams, and you hit 26 out of 33 from the line. That's a huge factor today.
I've said all season long, the best thing about this group is how competitive they are. And down the stretch in a lot of games, we've shot free throws pretty well. The group of the guys standing right here and those guys behind me, they may look ugly at times, but here they've looked pretty, and today they've knocked them in when it counted.
Coach, explain the change between the first half and the second half.
Well, we had a nice conversation at halftime, and I just basically told them we're a good team. Regardless of what everybody thinks, we're a good team. Let's go back and do the things that got us here in the first place. But it was Mark, Alonzo, Adonis, those guys that did it.
Quinn, you got a couple of players with you there.
Yeah, I do. I have Alonzo Jamison right here to my right, and I got Mark Randall. I'm going to ask you, Alonzo, you came out and played a big-time game. Was this special for you?
It has to be. We didn't have any respect going into this game. I think going in, we're going to have some respect.
Mark, you were part of the team. You set out, but you still were part of the team in the 88. Is this close to that same feeling?
This is definitely close to it, but it feels a little bit better for myself. Like I said, in 88, I got to sit on the bench, and that was a special feeling, but nothing compares to this. And I told you yesterday, this is what it's all about, and I can't match this feeling. No way.
Coach, let me just ask you, have you entertained the possibility of meeting Dean Smith?
Press said something about it yesterday. It's the first time I even knew those brackets met each other. We're playing it one day at a time. I'm going to cheer like heck for North Carolina, but when we get there at Indianapolis, we just want to play somebody. We just want to be there.
Coach, congratulations once again to you and your club. Kansas Jayhawks a winner. Let's go back to New York and rejoin Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, thank you. Congratulations to them. And I noticed they had the AR crossed out on the Arkansas. What happened, in your opinion, there?
I think that Kansas kept its composure. It got into the basics of its half-court game in the second half, stepped up its defense, and really kept Arkansas from hitting them with any runs, and went at Arkansas in the second half. Kansas was capable of that. They got out of their game late in the first half, and they showed a lot of discipline in the second half.
Well, Roy, 40 minutes of hell turned into 20 minutes of oh heck for Arkansas. Roy Williams is my coach of the year, Pat. He's 4 years ago, he was a part-time assistant in North Carolina. Now he takes his team into the Final Four. Nobody expected it. A tremendous tribute.
I'm making a list here. Here's Mike Francesa's upsets, by the way. Seton Hall to beat Arizona. Done.
Yep.
St. John's beat Ohio State. Done. Temple to beat Oklahoma State. Done. And Kansas beat Arkansas. How do you know these things?
All right, sometimes just get lucky, Pat. What can I tell you?
We have a 7:03 tip for UNLV Seton Hall, but when we come back here, we're going to have a chat with Louis Carnesecca, okay? So stay with us.
In financial matters, as in life, everybody's different. Different needs, different goals. The Principal Financial Group understands. Our financial services are as unique and individual as you are. Personalized solutions that offer each customer an advantage. That's the Principal Edge. It's made us one of America's largest. So for diversified products that fit your financial needs to the letter, look for the Principal Edge.
In making an artistic statement, one's personal aroma shouldn't do the talking. So I use Right Guard Sports Stick with maximum protection. A true artiste should be known for inspiration, not perspiration. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Attenzione, prego. Cos'è questa cosa qua?
It's the Canon Futura.
Sembra sospetto. Guarda pagazione.
With futuristic flash and long-range power zoom lens.
Mario.
The Futura from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
New Britain, Connecticut is 119 miles from New York City. It only seems farther than that. People here live in the same houses their parents lived in, worship in churches where their grandparents worshipped, and work for the company their great-grandfathers built, the Stanley Works. So it's not surprising Stanley tools are made to last. It would only be surprising if they weren't.
The bigger-than-ever four-door Chevy S10 Blazer. Now America's best-loved sport utility vehicle gives you 4 doors and standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. The bigger-than-ever, better-than-ever 1991 four-door S10 Blazer. Open one up and see why more people are winning with. Now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
Every summer weekend, millions of the smartest guys in America fire up their Murray mowers. What makes them so smart is that Murray's rated one of the best in quality and performance, with a 2-year warranty backed by 10,000 service dealers, at a price that's about half of other top-quality mowers, which makes Murray mowers tough as they come, any way you cut it.
From Gillette comes Sensor, the only razor that can sense and adjust to the individual needs of your face. Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and individually adjust to your face. The closest, safest, most comfortable Gillette Sensor, together with a rich